A big celebration at the Terra school in Jaffa for the awarding of diplomas to students of the 2019 class. 50 years have passed since the foundation of the institute. The Holy Land is not only a destination for tourism or pilgrimages. For the young Parisian artist Miyuka Schipfer, the Holy Land is an opportunity to capture some of its beauty with a pen and a white sheet of paper. A team of Israeli scientists extracted a 5,000-year-old yeast from ancient terracotta containers and brought it back to life, reproducing King David's beer. The story of William Sabat, an 11-year-old boy from Bet-Faj. When he was paralyzed in his legs for weeks, the doctors could not give a clear diagnosis. Then the rapid healing and the rediscovered faith and testimony for the whole family. The story of Shibly Abusada. He grew up within the walls of the Franciscan monastery of Saint Saviour in the old city of Jerusalem and has served for more than 25 years as Kawas and as a driver for the custody of the Holy Land.
I'm very proud that my son managed to finish his studies at the Terra school, and I'm proud to have chosen this school for my children.
The Terra schools were established by the Franciscan friars after their arrival. Each Franciscan monastery that was founded was associated with a school. Through their educational studies, they have always provided students with human and spiritual values based on the teachings of Christ.
مدرسة ترى سان الرملة ساعدتنا كثير بعد ما ابني تعرض لحادث وكان مضطر يضل في المستشفى.
The Terra school in Ramle was a great help to my son when he was in an accident. During the 4 months he was forced to stay in the hospital, the school provided him with all the necessary assistance. Because of the treatment, he was not able to attend classes. So the school offered him private lessons, and fortunately, my son made it through this period successfully.
عود كل المواد والمعلمين تفرغوا أعطوه دروس خصوصية والحمد لله ابني اجتاز كل الامتحانات.
The educational message of the Franciscans has been the same for centuries, spreading knowledge against ignorance and building bridges of peace. Abdel Masih Fahim, director of the Catholic Schools Office in Israel, in his message to graduates, stressed the need to maintain the values of humanity, fraternity, respect, freedom, social justice and the vision of man as the image of God. During the celebrations for the Golden Jubilee, Brother Francesco Patton, Custos of the Holy Land, with the management of the Terra school in Jaffa, conferred honors on the teachers in gratitude for their service.
Educare al vivere insieme, in modo speciale ragazzi cristiani, ragazzi musulmani.
Educating Christian boys and Muslim boys to live together in a special way. This is a contribution to the society of the future and also a contribution of education for peace. As some of the boys said in the ceremony, this also takes away the source of violence, which is precisely the lack, the shortage of intellectual, but also and above all human education.
Di educazione intellettuale ma anche e soprattutto oserei dire umana.
The students experienced very emotional moments together with their relatives who dedicated time and effort to support them in their study paths. Dozens of times the eyes move from the paper to the object of the portrait, trying to capture the smallest details. The Holy Land is not only a destination for tourism or pilgrimages. The young Parisian designer Miyuka Schipfer is involved in a project financed by a French foundation to learn about the Mediterranean cultures. For her, this is an opportunity to capture a little of the Holy Land's beauty with a pen and a blank sheet of paper.
I have been in Jerusalem for 20 days. Every day I walk around the city. I draw portraits of the people who live here. Some are local, but some are also French. I also draw portraits of the religious, the architecture, as well as places of worship.
In the middle of a big celebration, Miyuka stands for hours portraying what is happening in front of the shrine of the Holy Sepulchre.
Je suis venue dessiner au Saint Sépulcre de nuit et de jour.
I went to the Holy Sepulchre during the night and the day. At night there is only a few people, and some religious who pray. Hearing the meditation that the place creates and the intimacy with silence was interesting. Then it was interesting to discover, during the day with the light of day, how the church becomes clearer and a very different atmosphere is created.
Ça m'intéressait de voir, aussi de découvrir avec la lumière du jour. Donc l'église était plus éclairée. Ça faisait vraiment deux atmosphères très différentes.
The notebook that Miyuka always carries with her after several days in the Holy Land is full of drawings, in black and white or in colour. This young artist is most impressed by the details.
Et je me suis intéressée au comportement et aux postures des croyants dans la façon dont ils prient.
Among other things, I'm interested in the behavior and posture of the faithful, particularly during their prayers, and the way they are placed in places of worship. Generally speaking, it is important for me to observe the place, because this is how I can transmit everything. Not only what I have around me, not only what I see, but also what I feel, the sense of incense. I think that even if I don't draw them, I can transmit the feeling in my drawing.
Je peux y mettre le sentiment dans mon dessin.
It may seem a toast like any other, but what makes it unique is an ingredient of the drink contained in the glasses, a 5,000-year-old yeast literally brought back to life by a team of Israeli scientists in search of King David's beer. A study with surprising results started almost for fun by a microbiologist who normally hunts down killer bacteria.
We were sitting in a pub and drinking beer and thought...
One evening I was having a drink with a brewer, a friend of mine, and we wondered what the taste of ancient beer was like, the taste of the time of Jesus or King David, and who knows if the yeast can survive through the centuries. So we asked some archaeologists for some ancient containers, and from initial research it turned out that yes, the yeast was there and it was still alive. They isolated the microorganisms taken from terracotta vases from different eras, from 4 archaeological sites in the Holy Land. The oldest ones date back to the first unified Egyptian kingdom.
The Egyptian beer was a very basic.
The beer of ancient Egypt was basic, of daily use. Even children drank it because of the lack of drinking water. It was mostly produced with juices, probably pomegranate and dates. We know the ingredients from ancient papyri. Someone had already tried to reproduce the pharaoh's beer using ancient recipes with modern materials. For the first time, we produced beer with ancient microorganisms, isolated, sprouted, purified from bacteria, and grown in the laboratory. There are 6 strains of live yeast recovered.
We sequenced them and their genome, and we look.
We mapped the genome and found that it is a yeast very similar to the one used today in Ethiopia. In this first experiment, we used ancient yeast and modern ingredients. In the future, we will try to recreate other ingredients as well. It was a difficult experience. What happened to us changed our entire life. William can now ride a bicycle, walk, go back to a normal life. But for 2 long months, he spent his days in a hospital bed without even being able to move his legs. William is an 11-year-old boy from Betfage near Jerusalem. One day in February, he's at school and he's not feeling well. His mother, Joanna, goes to get him and takes him to the doctor.
He was supposed to go up the stairs, but he fell. I asked what's wrong. He said he couldn't walk, and the doctor noticed that he had no reflex in his knee. He had no reflexes from the waist down.
Guillain-Barré syndrome, or transverse myelitis. It is difficult to make a precise diagnosis. In any case, it is something rare. Above all, it is not clear whether William will be able to walk again. His father Rami leaves his job to be with him. Many people come to visit him in hospital. William prays relentlessly, especially the Maronite San Charbel, as suggested by a neighbour. And then one Friday evening in April, what no one expects happens. I took the rosary and gave it to him, the one with the photo of the saint, and he began to pray. He took it in his hands, closed his eyes, and as he prayed, he began to cry. I couldn't see him like that, so I went out to the balcony to smoke a cigarette. It must have been a few minutes. Then William got out of bed, opened the door, and looked at me. I started to quiver. "William, are you standing? How?" "Dad," he said, "someone raised me and lowered my legs, and immediately I felt the need to stand up and walk. It's the miracle of San Charbel if I walk."
فهذه كانت أعجوبة من مار شربل.
William's rapid recovery has certainly left a profound mark, because even if science can explain it, the real miracle for the Sabats is another.
رجعنا لربنا. رجع جواتنا الإيمان.
It brought us back to faith. We returned to God. And I hope that our voice will reach everyone so that everyone knows that there is something up there, that God is there, that God exists, that miracles exist.
بحبنا وأعاجيب موجودة والمعجزات موجودة.
The first one who take care of me and let me feel that I am his son. So he was Father Santi. He was a very good person, and he take care of me. He take care of my study. He gave me everything as a father.
After suffering during his childhood from many difficulties in his life, Shibly Abusada found his way of salvation inside the walls of the Saint Saviour Monastery of the Custody of the Holy Land in Jerusalem. There he refined his conviction, fulfilled his personality, and his feelings and love for the Franciscan friars touched his heart. He shared food and water with them. Their image was printed in his mind. He was without a real father, but our Lord was his father. We were living in very poor conditions. I was 5 years old when my mother brought me to this boarding school. I did not have a father for family reasons. The Franciscan friars took care of us, and we received from them enough care that emulates the care of our families. Shibly remembers many of his comrades who lived in the dorms of the boarding school in Jerusalem. However, in 2004, the Franciscan friars were forced to close the school for technical reasons related to permits and difficulties met by the students to reach the school because of the construction of the separation wall. The consequences of the closure made drastic changes in the life of Shibly, who asked one day to be a Franciscan friar.
I asked for this, but Father Santi also told me, "You are only one. You have to go to make family or..." Okay, I told him, but I don't want. They know that I don't have a home, and there is no time for my mother to me, so they decide to keep me as long as I want.
The mercy of the divine care, overshadowed by the tears of Shibly, led him to get married, and he had now 3 sons. He established a family and began his career, recalling the main role played by the Custody of the Holy Land in preserving the remaining living stones in his land.
The custodia helping me also for my, not only for me, for my family, for my married, for my sons. As a scholarship they gave me, and now the last thing that they give me, the house for my son to live with his wife, because we don't have, so they gave it to me.
The term Kawas is a Turkish word which means law. The original name Yasgaji, or a police officer assigned to guard consuls and ambassadors, a profession occupied by Shibly for more than 24 consecutive years, in addition to serving as a special driver for the custos. This shows the great trust given to him by the Custody of the Holy Land.
From the beginning of my life, married life, I was 1 year with my wife, celebrate the Christmas and Easter, and after that I was celebrate all the time with the friars. But I'm proud to be to work this work, yes, because this is our country and we should be in our country. So we have to show all the people that we are here. Believe me, if we don't have the Franciscan here in the country, it will be you will not see any Christian person.